Siku, the Inuktitut word for sea ice, connects communities across the Arctic. Siku, the Indigenous Knowledge Social Network. Siku is a mobile app and web platform created by and for Inuit, providing tools for weather, ice safety, and hunting stories, as well as knowledge transfer and language preservation.
The weather's changing, the ice conditions is changing, and when we're driving a snowmobile or walking, we have to think before we get on that ice.
So this one's no good. If you try to pass by through this, you'll lose your snowmobile.
Siku puts Indigenous knowledge and observations front and center alongside weather and safety services, including sea ice products, tides, marine forecast, and satellite imagery. This lets hunters share dangerous and changing conditions with their communities using their own language and knowledge systems.
We used to get our information on 5 different websites.
Now with Siku, all that information is one place, also with the information from the elders and hunters.
Siku includes profiles for wildlife, sea ice, and traditional place names in multiple dialects that are taggable and act as living wikis of Indigenous knowledge. Using the mobile app while you're on the land, posts such as hunting stories and GPS tracks can be recorded and uploaded to Siku when you are back in your community. Integrating Indigenous ways of knowing with a suite of modern technologies. Siku, the Indigenous Knowledge Social Network. Now available for Android, iPhone, and online at siku.org. Brought to you by the Arctic Eider Society.
Since time immemorial, we've flourished on Turtle Island. This is our home, where we've raised generations upon generations of our children. Our languages, cultures, and ceremonies define who we are and our connection to this land. Great numbers of foreigners started arriving on our shores. Desires for furs drove them deep into our territories. Millions died through diseases that came with them. They also brought their system of education. All the while our foods were disappearing and our lands stolen. We began to starve. Soon, their network of residential schools stretched from coast to coast to coast. We were forced to attend. They finally closed these schools in the 1990s. By then, generations of us had attended.
We are sorry.
We are still here. These are our stories. We share them with you. Who we are, what we've gone through, and the path that lay ahead.
Bonjour, Anine, dine magan duk. Joshka vineshi qua disney cas, mako dine magan. Kagege mide qua dam, kawi qua dongang donji. Good morning, boys and girls. Joshka vineshi qua disney cas, mako dine magan. Kinanakumin nim, bigwach, giminin nim. My English name is Florence Painter, and I'm here to talk to you about the importance of language and culture. Language and culture is the basis of who we are inside. And as a residential school survivor, one of the things that we weren't allowed to speak was our languages, but I'm one of the lucky ones that maintain and retain my language, and now I help promote and encourage everybody that comes from a different ethnic background, First Nations, and whatever language group you may come from. Make sure that you survive your language, because we're doing our best to regenerate ours and to teach it to our youth and to everybody. So learn, even if it's just a few little words like Puju, Anin, Miigwech. Those are really key words that you need to know. And you can go to your relatives to learn more about how to engage yourself, because language and culture are so interconnected. I hope you enjoy your day and the rest of the week learning as much as you can about the language and culture. Miigwech.
Ani Buju Ajawewe Mikanekikwe Indigenous Isla Barker Indigenous Cause. Hi everyone, my name is Isla Barker. I'm a singer-songwriter from Winnipeg, Manitoba. My family is from Barons River First Nation, and I am a RBCX Music First Up artist. And I'm so excited to be here today as part of this event. For me, knowledge and the teachings that I've received from those that have come before me, my aunties, my elders, my grandmothers, all of those things are totally interwoven into everything I do. When it comes to being a storyteller, that's a huge part as well. I find that that's a huge part of my identity as an artist and as a person, and that for sure has come to me from a long line of people before me. And when it comes to my songwriting and how I conduct myself as a person in general, but then also as an artist, I know that I always come back to the teachings that I've been given and reflect on how I can put those into my daily life and try to teach other people as I go as well.
Hello everyone. We are joining here today to commemorate and to launch the Truth and Reconciliation Week. Truth and Reconciliation Week is so important. It's raising awareness of Indigenous peoples of Canada. It's raising awareness of the history. At the same time, we are building reconciliation to make that right relationship between First Nations, Inuit, Métis, and Canadians. So welcome and enjoy this National Truth and Reconciliation Week. We may not be together in person, but we are together online. So please take advantage of these important lessons. Learn of the history, learn of the messages that are coming forward to you, because indeed together we will build truth, we will build healing, and we will build reconciliation. Miigwech, thank you.
Anin, hello my friends and relatives. For those of you that don't know, I was given the name Pimose Mayenga, which means walking wolf in the Ojibwe language over 30 years ago. I'm located here on Treaty 1 territory, and I come from a Cree and Ojibwe background. I thought I'd share a song with you today to acknowledge the ones that didn't make it home.
Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of Truth and Reconciliation Week. I am Stephanie Scott, Executive Director with the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. Today we are talking about language and culture. This morning you can join our French session on Métis beadwork and sashes with Julie Durocher, music and culture with Emma Stevens, music is medicine with Shawnee Kish, the Red River Jig with Ivan Flett Memorial Dancers, and Tell Your Story with Rochelle Pomes-George. This afternoon, we have a French session with Wapakoni Tele Quebec on languages and culture, diversity from a queer perspective with Adeline Bird, Ryan Cooper, and Sonia Ballantyne. First Nations languages with Elder Claudette Commanda, Twice Colonized with Aju Peter, and drum teachings from a Northern Cree perspective with Steve Wood. If you feel you have the need to talk to somebody about what you learned or witnessed today, I remind you that we have healing supports available each day online. Miigwech, thank you for joining us.
That's it. My name is Eagle Whistle. My colonized name is Dennis Anderson. My parents were residential school survivors, and I also went to residential school. When my parents went to residential school, they were not allowed to speak their language. They were punished for it. And growing up, they didn't teach us how to speak Cree, so I didn't know my language. And today, I have a granddaughter that's in grade 5, and she's been taking Cree since she was kindergarten. And today, I also have another granddaughter and a great-granddaughter that are in grade 1 and learning to speak Cree as well too, taking Cree lessons. So it's been a long trip from when our people couldn't speak their language to today being taught how to speak language. I'm going to say.
Siku, the Inuktitut word for sea ice, connects communities across the Arctic. Siku, the Indigenous Knowledge Social Network. Siku is a mobile app and web platform created by and for Inuit, providing tools for weather, ice safety, and hunting stories, as well as knowledge transfer and language preservation.
The weather's changing, the ice conditions is changing. And when we're driving a snowmobile or walking, we have to think before we get on that ice.